What's up, everybody? Welcome to our channel on Us Hockey Takes. I am Hoa and this is Scott. Today is Fantasy Friday.
Yeah, so for today, we got 3 buy lows and 3 sell highs for you guys. We're getting close to the playoffs, so now is when it really counts. Now you got to start getting those wins in fantasy. So we're going to start you off with our buy low candidates. And I'm going to start off with Mo Seider from the Detroit Red Wings. Now, Mo Seider had a really crappy start to the season. He honestly was quite terrible. Almost every time I checked the box score, I was like, is this guy even doing anything? Is he just out there skating for 25 minutes? Like, it doesn't even make sense. But lately, he's starting to get it back. He's back on the power play one over Hronek, and he's starting to produce points. He has now gotten 6 points in his last 7 games and looks to be back to the Mo Seider we saw last year.
Yeah, this is great to see. I was, like Scott said, I was wondering what this guy was doing for the first 20, 30 games of the season. This guy like literally disappeared.
He was invisible.
He was absolutely invisible, playing 25 minutes just to skate around the ice. It's crazy. But now he's actually looking pretty good right now. I mean, I don't know about the defensive side of his game, but his offensive output has been much, much, much better. And it's good to see.
And another thing I really like about a player like Mo Seider, not only does he get a lot of ice time, but he also gets peripherals. This is a guy who's going to get you a ton of hits and blocks. He's already over like 100 of both of those. Just a great player to own for fantasy purposes. And he just like will pad the stat sheet for you. Even if he's not putting up a ton of points, he'll be getting something.
And the next player that we have on the list is Marchessault from the Vegas Golden Knights. He's a really good player. He's having a little bit of a down year, but right now, Mark Stone is out for the whole year. So this is a big news, which means that Marchessault is going to move up the lineup. He's going to move up sometimes to the first line, or he'll be playing on the second line with William Karlsson and Riley Smith there, where he has really good chemistry with. He's going to be on power play one. He's the main shooter on this team now. So you want these type of players. And right now he's underperforming. You want to pick him up as soon as you can.
Yeah, this is a player who is pretty dirt cheap to go pick up. I mean, only having 32 points in 45 games isn't exactly great for a forward of his caliber. This team is got some work to do. I mean, right now they started the Pacific at first for the first half of the year, and in the last 10 games they've really fallen apart and only won 2 games. But I do expect this team to turn it around. This roster, top to bottom, is too good. Even without Mark Stone, they're going to be doing pretty well, and they're going to score goals. And I think it starts with Jonathan Marchessault. I think he's going to be one of the candidates who actually really steps up for this team and really performs down the stretch when they need it most to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Vegas are not doing that well right now. They've been losing a lot of games, and right now they're gonna have, if they want to win the Pacific Division title, they're gonna be motivated. They need to start winning a lot of these games, and this guy's got to be the guy that puts up these points and step it up.
No, they're due for some positive goal regression soon. It's coming, and hopefully Marchessault's in on it. I think he will be. And honestly, if not, he does other things. He shoots the puck a ton. Just a good overall player to have a nice floor for fantasy purposes. And our final buy low candidate we got for you guys today is going to be Noah Dobson from the New York Islanders. Now, Noah Dobson has had kind of an up and down season. He started off really hot, then kind of went off for a bit and just got nothing. And now he's injured right now. So this is a great time because this injury is not a serious injury. He's going to be back after the All-Star break, but a lot of people are going to have soured on this guy. He hasn't been producing a lot of points in his last 4 games. I don't think he has any. And on top of that, he's missed a couple games now injured. This is a great time to strike for a good defenseman like Dobson. This is a guy who's going to be shooting the puck a ton. He's going to be on the power play. And as far as defenseman goes, he scores a ton of goals. It's actually incredible. I mean, he's already at 10 goals. We're pretty much only halfway through the season. It's incredible. This is the type of guy you want for fantasy.
I mean, when he was down with the injury, they had Ryan Pollock, right? Taking over at power play one. He really didn't do anything with that power play one.
Invisible.
So everyone knows that Noah Dobson is the number 1 quarterback for this power play unit, and he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back with a vengeance, especially with the way the New York Islanders are doing the trade deadline right now. Getting Bo Horvat, it seems like they're a buyer in the deadline for some reason, and they're going all in. They're gonna try to push for the playoff spot, and these players are gonna be motivated to play well in this stretch. So I could see definitely with Noah Dobson, he has a huge boost to their offense and their power play. They're going to start putting in some goals.
Yeah, when you're only 3 points out of a playoff spot, I mean, you're going to go ham. And this team is not slowing down anytime soon. They're not giving up. They're not selling at the deadline. They're going for it. And if they're going for it, that means they're going to have a very stacked power play probably. They're going to be adding some good forwards. They're going to be scoring a couple more goals, even though realistically we know the Islanders don't score a lot. But Dobson's going to be in on it, and he's going to be getting all the opportunity in the world with no competition on the back end.
All right, so that is our list of our buy lows. Now we're going to switch the gears to our sell high candidates. And at the first one is another New York Islanders, and that's going to be Bo Horvat. This is a newly acquired player on this team. You know what? He has 31 goals with the Canucks, but that's, again, I'm going to say that again, this again. He's got those goals with the Canucks. He's not going to get those goals with the New York Islanders. The New York Islanders are historically just a low-scoring team, and they don't score a lot of goals like the Vancouver Canucks do. So I definitely, and on top of that, he's playing behind Matt Barzal in the center position. So he is not the main guy on this team. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to play down the stretch, but I definitely see him declining for sure.
Yeah, 31 goals in 49 games. Bro, the Islanders haven't had that since Mike Bossy played in the 80s. Like, that doesn't happen for this team. They don't score goals. And I think Bo Horvat's in for some severe negative regression on the goal scoring. Honestly, at this point, I'd be surprised if he cracks 45, even with 31 already in 49 games. He's just not going to score as much on this team. And points in general are going to be fewer and hard to come by. I mean, I do think he'll help the Islanders offense. They're going to be better than they have been, but that's not necessarily saying a lot for a team that has historically in the last 5-6 years not scored at all. I really don't think that he's someone you want to keep, especially when right now, if you traded him, his name is out there a lot. Like, all we've heard about for weeks is about Bo Horvat. A lot of people are going to be interested in this guy.
Yeah, and one last thing I want to add about this player is that he might have already have an agreement for a long-term extension with this club already that we don't know about.
Lou Lamoriello does this thing where he just doesn't disclose stuff when it's like in talks for so long, and then out of nowhere he'll say, "Hey, guess what? We're signing this guy." Like, it's weird. I don't know. He's such a weird GM.
Yeah. So why I'm bringing this up is usually when a player gets paid, they no longer play that well anymore. Right now, I feel like with the Vancouver Canucks, when he was with the Vancouver Canucks, he was playing for that contract.
Yeah, he's been very driven for that money. He wanted to get signed for a big extension and a big amount of money. And I think if it's safe, you're going to start to see him put in a little less effort. It's hard to say. And speaking of Bo Horvat, we got his ex-teammate now as our number 2 sell high candidate, and that is JT Miller. And part of it is because Bo Horvat is no longer playing with JT Miller, straight up. This is a team in the Vancouver Canucks that is clearly rebuilding. They're not hiding it anymore. There's all the trade talk in the world about getting rid of players. And I think JT Miller is going to be the guy left out here who's not going to have many line mates left to play with. And I mean, as good of a player as he has been in the last 3 years, I don't think that if he's playing with AHL caliber players on the first line and Anthony Beauvillier, that he's going to be putting up some incredible point per game numbers. I think he's already got 44 and 49, which is a down year compared to last year, which we kind of expected. But I don't think that it's going to get any better, and most likely it's going to get worse now that he's going to be playing with less talented players than, say, Bo Horvat.
Yeah, Bo Horvat's gone is a big one, but another reason why I think he's going to decline big time is because he's not motivated this year. Like, this year, the Vancouver Canucks are not going anywhere.
It's a wash.
It's a wash.
Yeah, it's a waste.
They're not making the playoffs. So if they're not making the playoffs, what's the point of even getting scoring these goals and scoring these points? There's not much point right now. And he's already signed that big fresh contract. There's no motivation for this player to do well down the stretch.
No, there's no reason. I mean, you're coming into the arena, you know you're going to be bottom 6 team in the league.
Yeah.
You don't really have that extra drive like they did last year when down the stretch last year when JT Miller was having this incredible 100-point season.
Yeah.
Like
they were heading to
99.
playoffs.
They were like in a playoff push. They were trying to push for that last wildcard spot. They don't have that this year.
No.
And it looks like the team is just trying to work on their chemistry defensively and not allowing a million goals a game. And I don't think with Tocchet there that he's going to be let loose to score as much.
And the final sell high candidate that we have is from the San Jose Sharks, Tomas Hertl. You know what? I like this player. He currently has 43 points in 49 games, which is pretty good, actually. I think his career high was 75 points or something, which is pretty decent.
Oh, he's a great player.
He's a great player. I like this player a lot from the Czech Republic. But I feel like with the deadline coming up, a lot of his friends like Timo Meier and all these big sharp shooters are going to be gone from the lineup. I believe Logan Couture could be moved. Barabanov could be moved. That's pretty much a whole power play unit right there. So because of that alone, he's going to be the main offensive player on the other teams to shut him down, and it's going to be easier to shut down just one player on the team. So he's going to really drop in the production for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we talked about with you guys a couple weeks ago where we're talking about Nick Suzuki and how without Cole Caulfield, this guy's point total is probably going to drop. It's just, Hertl's a great hockey player. There's nothing against him. I really appreciate his game a lot, actually. But when you don't have the line mates to play with, and he most likely won't once they get rid of Meyer and once they get rid of Barabanov potentially, and Logan Couture could be gone. There's so many options. The Sharks are probably one of the biggest sellers at this deadline. This guy's going to be left with rookies, AHL caliber players, and fourth liners to play with. And if that happens, he's not going to see this almost point per game production he's had to start this year. This would be a great time to sell this guy and capitalize while his value is still respectable.
Yeah, one last thing to add, exactly the same as JT Miller. What is he playing for? He's not motivated. All his friends getting traded away. The team's dead last. They're trying to lose and tank for Bedard.
Yeah,
right?
And you don't really want that type of player on your fantasy team come 65 games into the season and you're in the fantasy playoffs. Not ideal situation.
Yeah. And on top of that, he's already paid. He doesn't need to play for a new
contract. He
contract.
locked up for a long time. He's safe.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Fantasy Friday. Next week, we'll be doing an extra special one for you for our finale for our buy low, sell highs for the year because the trade deadline is coming up, and we know you guys are going to want that last-second edge to try to get ahead of your opponents. For now, though, feel free to like and subscribe this video. We also have a new Twitter handle, actually. If you guys want to get a hold of us, it's really easy. We will respond to you, for sure. And that is going to be Honest Hockey TKS. Unfortunately, Twitter doesn't fit the full word in for takes because they have a 15-digit limit. But hit us up. We'll have it in the link below. Until next time, take care.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.